Elise Mayfield.
And this is Who's Zooming In?
Who's Zooming In?
Episode 16.
16.
Going on 17.
Oh.
Only. All right. So tell everybody, first of all, this is always so important. Tell everybody why we do this, my friend.
Well, we miss our people.
We do.
So Who's Zooming In? Our little show is our opportunity to catch up with our favorite people, find out what they're up to, what they've been doing, what's going on, all those kinds of things, because, you know, we miss being able to run into our folks.
Yes, we do. We do. So that's why we have people that we love and cherish in the Zoom room with us every week. So we can't wait. So tell us again, Elise always makes sure that she tells me 3 things we are not allowed to talk about today. So what are those 3 things? I know you spend a lot of time worrying about it.
So much. Okay. I just have to say, literally every time we get ready to film, my dog will be resting comfortably. And as soon as we get ready to start recording, suddenly he's like on watch at the door waiting for someone. And now I think it's because he's figured out that if he does that, I'll give him a rawhide to chew on. So he gets a treat now.
Nice. Maybe he loves my voice.
I think that's probably it too.
3 things we're not, No, what are the 3 things we can't talk about? Is he good?
Well, so the other thing that I thought we shouldn't talk about, because I just want to give people a hint and then we shouldn't talk about it anymore.
All right.
Did you know that it is extremely easy to make your own Irish cream? Just
we will talk about it later.
Yeah.
All right. It's great. And what's our 3rd thing?
And I can't talk about it because it brings me great stress, but I have not done much Christmas shopping and it is a little scary.
I did a little bit today on Amazon. I know I shouldn't give money to the big box, but I did.
I know, but we're kind of in that place. So I'm also doing some shopping on the Amazon. So
okay, so we're not talking about the dog. We're not talking about Irish cream, and we're not talking about
Christmas shopping.
Blah. All right, we're done. All right, so now this is going to be a crazy episode, and I feel like we could probably go on till 9 o'clock tonight, but we're not. These 2 guys, this is the 3rd time we've had 2 people on.
Yes.
Right? So we had a married couple, we had your mom and my mom, and now these 2 gentlemen have been friends for almost 20 years. One of them is a graduate of Birmingham Southern with a musical theater degree and an MFA from the University of Alabama in directing. He moved to, back in the early days, he moved to New York City, starred in multiple off-Broadway musicals. He's worked regionally and locally as an actor, director, and a writer. And a lot of people might remember him as Edna Turnblad in Hairspray. And the other one of these gentlemen considers himself a jack of all trades, a jackalope, if you will. He can be seen, well, actually not seen if you're behind the scenes, right? In an orchestra pit in any theater in town. He's a composer, an arranger. He's written dozens of scores for the Birmingham Children's Theater, also for theaters coast to coast, New York City cabaret performers, and his most recent obsession is the accordion.
Love it.
Come on now. Would you 2 gentlemen please join us in the Zoom room? Jay Tuminello and Barry Austin.
And Barry.
There they
Hello. Can you see me?
You're a little close to the camera.
Oh.
You're a nut. You're a nut.
Funny.
So here they are.
Hello.
And we talked earlier before we even started the interview. I'm so excited to talk to the 2 of you together. You are on tonight for a reason, because you have done something special together over the span of the pandemic. But before we talk about your collaborative experience, let's talk a little bit about, let's just start with Barry, because I'm feeling alphabetical tonight.
Okay.
So since this whole pandemic smacked us upside the head, Barry, tell everybody what you've been doing.
Oh, gosh. Well, and you may have to remind me because, I'm old and I'm forgetful, but well,
you've been working. I mean, you've never stopped working, right?
That's true. So I work at the VA.
Uh-huh.
And so my days pretty much never change. We've gone in pretty much since this whole strange time began. So my days have been consistent. I'm very thankful for that. My evenings are another story.
Yeah.
When the world shut down, several months ago, gosh, it went from, rehearsals and projects and everything lined up to do this year, productions, just everything gone. So what I've been trying to do since that happened and that new reality sort of set in, are various creative projects. Oh, yep. Are they seeing that now?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay, so there's one of them. That's actually the first one we did. We put together a group called One Voice Birmingham, and we released a song online. This one was the first one we did, You'll Never Walk Alone. And I believe, if I'm not mistaken, Mr. Bolt, you participated in that one.
I did. I'm in the upper left-hand corner. Yep, there I am. Yeah. And then you did it again.
We did another one. And actually, this is the one that was sort of my first idea it's One Voice, the Barry Manilow song One Voice. And so when this happened, when coronavirus started, changing our reality, I was just so sad, really, as I realized, wow, I mean, we are just like, everything's just gone, and we all miss each other. And I thought, well, what can we do to offer some hope and some love to each other and also to the world? So we started, we did the first one, which was we learned the technology, we learned a little bit about how that worked. And then the second one, we kind of opened the doors to invite more and more people. And we ended up having quite a number of, Birmingham theater folks and singers released the Barry Manilow song One Voice, which has always been one of my favorites. And, we put it out there as I don't know, I was going to say fate or luck would have it. Scott Bourne, who sings in it, is friends with someone who knows Barry Manilow. So Barry Manilow actually heard the song.
Of Barry Manilow,
That's amazing.
right?
Yeah. And turns out he liked it. And so once he liked it and kind of put it out there on social media that he liked it, a lot of people actually saw that. A lot of people saw both of them, but particularly the second one.
Yeah, that's true. And Jay, when the middle of March, were you working at Birmingham Southern at the time?
I was.
And then what happened? I mean, the school just shut down. You were working on a musical, I think, weren't you?
We had just completed our musical. We were doing our spring musical, and we had just completed our rehearsals, and all the COVID stuff just exploded onto the scene, and we knew that we were not going to be able to do the musical. So we would do a like a recital version of it, since we had just completed music rehearsals. But then they bumped everything a whole week back, and they just closed us down. I got a phone call from Michael Flowers in the theater department, my friend and collaborator, and said, we're done. You won't be back. And it was so abrupt and sudden. And you flash forward to the fall when we started back and tried to have classes again. It's been a very interesting experience. What it would, all these seniors that were involved in the show that didn't get to do it, didn't get to do the thing. And then we get into the fall, and we couldn't do a musical in the fall, but I was collaborating with Michael in teaching a musical theater class. But just the change in environment, coming back from what it was when I left, and then coming back to this thing where we can't have, we were working in this huge auditorium, and there's 11 people, and they're all spread out, and you can't see their faces, and it's a very bizarre thing. But we did a project in the fall in lieu of the musical that we would have done in the spring, and all the students wrote their own monologues about what this year has been. And by August, everybody's been through a lot with the racial riots and unrest that we've had through the year.
Right.
And it was very interesting to see from these people's perspectives at that young age, and knowing something I had not considered as, when you're 19 years old, you don't have very many life skills, and you don't have a lot to work with to deal with something so traumatic. So it was very interesting to hear what they put on stage for that project.
Yeah. So you've adjusted, both of you have adjusted in your work lives to the pandemic. I know that Jay's adjusted being socially distant at the college and working on things, and Barry is still going to the VA and adjusting to the pandemic in their regular work life. But like Barry said, in the evenings, things are, we're all trying to do creative stuff, right? So Barry did, you and I did Bad Auditions on Camera.
Yes, yep.
Right, with the TNT, which Elise was in.
So fun.
Yeah, that was
yes, you
so
were
much
great
fun.
at that.
It was so
And-
fun.
And Jay, didn't you guys have done a lot of pivoting with the choir, because you also work at the Bluff Park Methodist Church, right?
Yeah, yeah.
So
we were shut down for a while. We weren't doing anything. But when we came back together, you can't really come back together in a choir situation.
Right.
So it's been very interesting. Way we're working now is we rehearse in, like, I don't know, serial rehearsals where there'll be a rehearsal and then an hour later there'll be another rehearsal, and we have to be all spread out, and only a certain number of people can be in the pit in the choir loft on Sunday. We can't get more than 6 up there in the main area.
Wow.
And so it's been very interesting adjusting to that, and people having the confidence of feeling safe enough to participate at all, frankly.
Right. Right. So what's next for you, Barry? I know you and I are doing some sneaky behind the scenes stuff for TNT. And you also did, you gathered some people this weekend to do a video, right?
I did. Yeah. The One Voice, the first 2 videos, we did were people filming themselves in their homes. This last one we did, we socially distanced, gathered at a park outside, and we did a Christmas song. So that video, hopefully as we speak, is being, edited, the sound and the video for that. And it should come out any day now, really, the One Voice Christmas song.
Well, that's great.
Lovely.
I know, that's exciting. I was going to share a screen. Can you guys see that picture?
Oh
my gosh!
I saw that show. You were great.
This was not the first time that Jay Tuminello and I worked together, because we have a history at the Children's Theater. But Barry and Jay and I and Elise really all have a terrific new theater connection. So we've done multiple shows there together. Barry and I have been on stage together. Jay's been my musical director for multiple things there. This was the very first time we did Sophie Tucker at TNT.
Wow.
The second
and
time.
Also in Jay's music world, didn't you compose the music for this off-Broadway children's show, right?
Yes.
Whoosicle Junior?
It was called Whoosicle. Whoosicle Junior was like a shrunk down version of it. But my sister-in-law collaborated with me on this, and we got the permission from Andy Green, who wrote this great series of children's books that help children deal with their emotions. And
wonderful.
Oh.
When did that hit off Broadway? That was a couple years ago, like 3 years ago.
2016,
maybe. 17?
Yeah, so it's
okay.
No, it was sooner than that, because I was still living in New York.
Okay.
12, maybe 11 or 12.
Wow.
I know, time flies.
It does, doesn't it? Yeesh,
Yeah.
Yeesh.
I don't think I knew that story. I think that's the first I've heard of that.
Yeah, we entered in a competition up there, and we made it as a finalist, but we didn't win in the competition. But actually, as we're speaking of this right now, what I'm doing for Who's Zooming In, I'm doing for this Whoosicle thing. The woman that wrote the book is doing something very similar to what we're doing right now, and I'll be taking the music that we wrote for the show and taking, like, shrinking it down and doing little segments of it.
That's awesome.
So that just started a couple of weeks ago, as a matter of fact.
So you two, and we have said this often on the show, that creative people they do not sit still. So these two have been busy with their regular jobs and making magic in the evenings and in their free time, which is the main reason we wanted to have them on this episode, to talk about what you two did together. Yeah. Tell us a little bit. I'll let Barry start. Tell us about this collaborative craziness that the two of you sat down and did.
Okay. Well, so Jay and I over the years have done several projects together, spread out over, a couple of decades, but we've gotten together before, children's theater and some other things. We've written some music together, and I love doing it. If this could be my job, Jay, this would be my dream job, is working with you, collaborating with you.
Well, thank you.
You are very welcome, and I really mean it. I just love it. And so we've talked and we've thrown some ideas around about what we might want to write. We've got some ideas for musicals and things like that. So we kind of thought, well, let's start with just one song. Mm-hmm. And then it's like, well, which one? I have little bits and pieces of lyrics and this and that. But my mom tells me this story. And so so we decided to write this one song, right? So my mom tells me this story. When she was a young bride, she would go to my dad and ask him repeatedly to tell her that he loved her. And my dad is a very quiet sort of man. And he would do that, but she asked maybe one time more than he would have preferred. And he said, "Shirley, do you remember when I married you, I told you that I loved you?" "Yes." "Well, if that changes, I'll let you know." Right? That's what he told her, right? So I always thought that was really kind of funny, and it kind of stuck in my mind. And for whatever reason, it had a country, it turned into a country song. It always felt like that sounds like a funny country song. So anyway, so that's what Jay and I decided to write together, and we started playing around with the lyrics and what it might sound like. And yeah, over the course of a few weeks, we put together a country music song. And you know, we were thinking it might be something we could also at some point, you know, maybe use in a musical. But the more we got into it, the more I was like, no, I want to sell this song. I want to write a country music song to sing on the radio. Not for me to sing, but for somebody to sing on the radio.
But you sing it on I'm going to play the recording here in a minute. Not the whole thing, but I've got it queued for the last chorus.
Okay.
So I'm started at 3 minutes and 13 seconds into the song.
Yeah.
But you do sing it on the recording.
I do sing like the demo, yes. Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
And so the cool thing, like Jay, and you might want to talk about this, Jay, what you did, the magic you did with this, because he makes like all these instruments, and he turned me into the all the singers, you know. So it's hopefully it'll be a good demo, and we can sell it to somebody, and we'll all make a lot of money. That's my hope.
Well, tell us what you did with it, Jay.
Well, let me just say that Barry came in with a really fleshed out idea of what he was. I mean, the tune was real fleshed out. So we had to we made some decisions about the form of the song, where we,
verse, chorus, verse.
Yeah, bridge and all that that kind of stuff. And so I helped him with the shape of it. I really feel like I was more of a producer on this than actually doing a lot of writing. My collaboration really involved the arranging part of it. So, and Barry would make a suggestion. Well, it sounds really nice and traditionally country, but you listen to X and X player on the radio right now, and I like some heavier rock guitar. So we were able to just have a dialogue and shape it into what we wanted it to be, and it's pretty good.
Yeah. I think it's really wonderful, and I want to play the last chorus for everybody. All right, so here we go.
Cool.
If it ain't broke, don't fix it, don't fix it. If it's working, leave it alone, leave it alone. If it ain't broke, don't fix it. Why mess with home sweet home, sweet home? You ask me, do I love you? Ain't I tell you that it's so. Ain't broke, don't fix it. If it changes, I'll let you know. What ain't broken don't need fixing. I know all your little tricks, and I ain't falling for it. Leave it alone. Don't mess with home, sweet home. If it ain't broke, don't fix it.
Yeah. Was that fun or what?
I like it. I love it.
Yeah, it's funny. It's we made this little earworm. It's whoever gets the privilege of singing our song, I'll be excited to see who it is.
So what's next with it? You've got this demo that you've made, right?
So here's where the fear comes in.
Yeah, you got the lyrics, you got the music.
That's
So
true.
what's next?
Promoting it, and it's and we have both experienced a little bit of fear and self-doubt in getting it out there, but slowly but surely we made a couple of contacts.
Good.
We had one bona fide rejection, which is not a bad thing. It was
That was awesome. A real country singer said he didn't want to sing our song. But the cool thing is we got it to him, right?
Yeah.
Well, and basically, and this is going to be the case with anybody. It's like, from what we could tell, he liked it, but it just wasn't in his wheelhouse. It's not wasn't his, what he wants to be as part of his image as a performer.
Right. And it's like being an actor, you're going to get rejected a lot, but that gets you closer to the job, right? One of the, so, it's part of it. But
getting a rejection is better than not hearing anything at all.
For sure.
In my opinion. So,
and we have some friends, that know people. So we've tried to knock on those doors first. Those doors have not really gone anywhere yet. Although Jay has a pretty good lead. And then step 2 will be people that maybe so step 1 was I put it out there. Hey, written a country music song. If you know somebody, get back to me. So people did. So that avenue is what we're trying first. Avenue 2 is people who didn't get back to me, but I'm going to knock on their door and go, hey, don't you know so-and-so? And just, see what they say. Avenue C will be, so I've been researching online about these conventions and things they have in Nashville, not at the moment because of COVID, but, they have plenty of stuff. And I'll probably go over to Nashville and, go to one of those events where you can put yourself in front of, publishers and people who buy music, and I'll play them our song.
Well, that's so exciting. I love that.
That is amazing.
Well, the thing is, what I'm learning as a life experience is to drop your expectations and just, go out and do your thing. And somebody's going to, ultimately somebody's going to like it. It's somebody, and it doesn't, what if we help launch the career of somebody who's completely unknown, that they grab hold of it. So, and we're going to do some more. It was fun. It's the first time that we have done something this extensive and like thoroughly polished and put out there, other than what we've done at work at children's theater.
Right.
This is a perfect example of, and I forget who said it, but of finding art in yourself, right? Rather than yourself in art.
Right.
Yeah.
It's a perfect example of taking a situation where we have all kinds of time on our hands, pretty much, because normally we would be busy until 10 p.m. or 10:30 every night.
Right.
Going to rehearsal and trying on costumes and practicing our lyrics and our dance moves and our and here we are.
Yeah.
And the two of you
country western songs.
I know. And the two of you have found art in yourselves.
We did.
It's wonderful. It's really exciting. I can't wait to see what happens with it.
I can't wait.
We will see, and I'm a person of faith, I will say. So the thing that makes it, easier for me is, what? I pray for God's will, whatever that might be. So if it is God's will for this song to be successful, the good news for us is there's nothing that will stop that from happening.
That's true. Does God like country music?
I believe he does. Well, I think that's his favorite kind.
It is his favorite kind. Yep. Yep.
So,
and we all love Jesus. We just drink a little. So
that's right. Not anymore.
That's true.
Anymore. Well, I think in order for us to get the 10 questions in with these two, because I have a feeling we're going to go off the deep end on some of these, we're going to giggle and laugh. I am so glad to see both of your faces.
So glad to see y'all's faces too.
Yes.
And thank you so much for doing this.
Yeah, and thank you for having us.
So what we do at the end of every episode, before we get to the 10 questions, again, everybody, Jay Tuminello, Barry Austin, come on, collaborative partners in this crazy COVID mess that we're living in. So now we're going to ask you, and Barry said it, James Lipton, like 10 questions. Yes. So I always ask the odd questions and Elise asks the even questions, and we want both of you to answer.
Yes.
Okay. So let's just, Barry, how about we just say you always go first, and then we'll get about halfway and then we'll flip. How's that?
Sure.
Okay.
All right. So the question number 1, and Barry will answer first and then Jay. What is your favorite dessert?
Favorite dessert? Well, the first thing that comes to mind.
Yes.
When I was a little boy, my mother would make me a 2-layered chocolate cake, chocolate, layer of vanilla ice cream, layer of chocolate. You could get something similar at Shoney's. You might remember Shoney's.
Yes.
Cut it in a big slice like that and pour hot fudge sauce on it. And that has always been my favorite dessert.
Yum. What about you, Jay?
Nanner pudding.
Yeah, nanner pudding.
Nanner pudding.
Love some banana pudding. Yeah.
Yes,
Love that.
yes, yum.
All right, question number 2.
Yeah.
Dogs or cats?
Oh, dogs for sure. I wish I had her close by, but yeah, dogs for sure. I have a 13-year-old Boston Terrier named Sealy who used to love to sit beside me and never left my, side. She, however, at 13 now likes to go upstairs and be on her pillow. So that's where she is at the moment.
Oh, Maxine. There's
Today's answer is Maxine.
Maxine, star of Screen and Stage.
Yes.
Well, Screen now, stage before, but
That's true.
definitely dogs. Yeah.
Definitely dogs.
Yes.
Or definitely this dog, anyway.
This Maxine.
She is a sweetheart for sure.
She really is.
All right, Barry, question number 3. Do you still make a wish when you blow out your birthday candles?
Oh, yes, always. Yes.
Jay?
Definitely.
Mm-hmm.
I make a wish when other people blow out their birthday candles. So
Yes.
every chance I get.
Always.
And you know what? And I will say this, my birthday's coming up in a few weeks. So given the circumstances of 2020, I will be wishing especially hard on this particular wish. For
Yes.
sure.
Amen.
All right, question number 4. If you didn't live in Alabama, where would you live?
Barry.
Okay, I was going to say, am I still going?
Yep, you're still first.
Where would I live? 2 things come to mind. The first thing is, I lived in New York when I was younger. I would not do that unless I had a lot of money and a job to go back and do it again. But if I had those circumstances and it's not shut down due to coronavirus, New York City, I would love to live there again one day. My second thought to that is the most beautiful place I've ever been to, and I love it so much, is Brazil. I traveled there many times, several years ago. I've been there like 5 times, and I love that country. It's a beautiful place to be.
That's fantastic.
Jay, what about you?
Jay?
Well, if I go off in a fantasy area,
Yes.
where I had millions of dollars and
dream big.
I would live in Florence, Italy.
Ooh, good choice.
Well, you could be Carolyn Violi's neighbor.
Yeah, exactly.
That's where she wants to live.
Well, you know what? That's actually, I would go there with you, Jay. So when we sell our country music song, let's
Exactly. Yeah.
We could be roommates.
Now, the more spiritual, cerebral answer is wherever I can make, a contribution.
Mm-hmm.
So, and right now it's here, and I enjoy being here. So,
I wish I.
I'm glad you're here. All right, this is the last question that Barry goes first on. This is question number 5. If you could wear only one color for the rest of your life, Barry, what would that color be?
Well, I will say this, and I happen to be wearing it tonight. Although I often, the color I wear the most frequent, Lee, I said that really badly, blue.
Blue.
But the color that I love the most and I would want to wear is red.
Good.
Yes.
Vibrant. What about you, Jay?
probably blue.
Mm-hmm. Got a lot of blue people, a lot of blue in our episodes.
And I'm wearing blue right now, sort of.
Yep, me too.
A good choice.
Yep.
Okay.
All right, now we're going to flip it. So for the rest of the questions, Jay has to answer first.
Okay.
Here we go.
Okay. Question number 6. What did you collect as a child?
What did I
know. This is such a good question. I love it so much.
Sock monkeys.
Aww.
And somewhere along the line of moving, I've lost my sock monkey collection.
Oh no.
And I have about 12 of them. My very first sock monkey I got when I was 4 years old. My aunt had made it for me, but she wasn't finished. She was just showing it to me. And I misunderstood and thought she was finished. So I have a sock monkey that has no eyes, no arms. It just has a tail and 2 legs and a face. It just has a mouth. And that's my favorite sock monkey.
In other words, a sock.
Yeah, basically, yeah.
Oh.
A sock with a tail. What about you, Barry? Did you collect anything as a child?
I did. In fact, it's right here.
Oh.
He's going to get it.
Visual.
I'm scared.
Oh!
I collected, when I would go to Disney World, I would collect, now I've lost my ear. Oh, here it is. I collected little Disney figurines, when I would go to Disney over the years, which, I've lived 5 decades, so I've been a time or two. and I at one point I had a really big collection in my younger days. This is what's left.
Really?
I've moved, a lot. So, Figment. Anybody remember Figment and Maleficent? They're God knows where, but I still have Mickey.
Disney. All right. Question number 7, Jay. Are you related to anyone famous? If so, who?
Not like known here, but there is a John Tuminello in Italy that's a guitar player that's famous over there.
Oh, wow.
Oh.
Now I'm going to have
We
to
are
use
related.
him. Yeah.
I've never met him, but I have a cousin that's met him.
Huh.
And my dad's reached out to him on the Facebook.
On the
And
Facebook.
if I'm not mistaken, I think that they're friends on Facebook. But this guy's very talented, kind of like a popular guitar player, but with like really big, like really good classical chops too.
Oh, wow. I'm gonna look him up. John.
John Tuminello. Yeah.
Tuminello.
Cool.
Okay, Barry, what about you?
I wish I could say yes. I wish I could say I was related to a country music singer. But I am not related to anybody famous. I could drop a few famous names, but some snow evening by the fire.
Yes.
But, no, I wish, but no.
Nope.
All right. Well, question number 8, sweet or salty?
Jay.
That's tough. Can't be sweet and salty?
Oh, it definitely can. It can be whatever you want it to be.
Well, then sweet and salty.
That's fine. That's my answer.
Right?
It could. Yes, it can. Barry, what about you?
I'm going to say sweet. I've got a sweet tooth. Yeah.
Do you?
Yep. I got
Yep.
a
Chocolate
freezer
and ice cream. Yum.
freezer full of ice cream as we speak. As soon as we finish here, I'll probably check.
Salted caramel ice cream.
Ooh.
The best of both worlds, right?
That's right.
All right. Last 2 questions before we let you go off into your evenings. And I think I know the answer for both of these, Elise. We're looking ahead here. Jay, if you had to choose, which would be your favorite? Musicals or straight plays?
Life is a musical, okay? Life should be underscored. Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes.
Musicals, of course.
And for you, Barry Austin?
Ditto.
Ditto. Yep. I think that is true for all of us.
I can't take the dog outside without hearing some underscoring in my head. So
This is true.
All right.
And our last
question on a scale of 1 to 10, 10 being the funniest, how funny are you?
God.
me? Oh, I'm first.
You're the
10.
top.
10. Yeah.
Of course, 10. Maxine, what do you think? 10.
And Mr. Austin?
You know what? I will say, based on my interview today, I'll say a 3. No. I think I'm a funny person, but it takes funny people to bring it out in me.
Well, I think in our interactions, he's a 10.
He's
We
a 10.
definitely play off of each other.
You
So.
both are 10s. And I was telling Elise earlier, I was on a text thread with the 2 of these the other night. It was ridiculous. Well, thank you, Barry Austin and Jay Manello, for joining us tonight.
Right.
Thanks for having me.
you.
Thank you.
Bye. If it ain't